I'm Steph from Stitching with Steph, and welcome to my channel. This week we're going to be doing week 5 of a Stitch with Me with Spring Mountain, as you can see on the screen here. We are again going into week 5, so we've stitched this together for a pretty long time now. Go ahead and stay tuned, and we'll go ahead and get this kit started. All right, friends, welcome back to week 5 of this Stitch with Me for Spring Mountain. As discussed in our previous Stitch with Me, we're going to go ahead and do this color here. And it is number 28. So we got to be careful when we're looking at this, because if you see here, they're little X's. But then over here on color 13, they're little plus signs. But if you're not paying close attention, you could easily confuse that. So we are doing number 28, and it is DMC 3328, and it is this pretty pink color here. Okay. It's kind of hard to believe that we're into week 5 of our Spring Mountain already. And that's the thing about cross stitching. It takes a lot of patience to get our projects done, and a lot of time to get our projects done, right? So for me, if I find a kit that I really like, I'll commit a lot of time to it. But like I said, I take some projects with me to work to stitch on. Wow, that didn't stay very well, did it? To stitch on my lunch break. I haven't had a lot of stitching time this past week just because of my work schedule. So I know that contributed to me not getting a lot done on any of my projects, because between work and school, those are my 2 priorities next to my family. My hobby is just that. It's my hobby that kind of takes a back burner when it comes to school. So I'm just pulling that first one through slowly because I didn't want it to not. Hopefully we'll be able to get through this full strand here. Of this thread with this video. Ideally, I would like to. There's a lot of color blocking in the areas that I'm working right now, so it should work. My son just found out one of his classmates lives close to here, literally like 1 block over. So my husband, I guess, is going to meet with their parents, so that way we can hopefully let them play together after school. There we go. I feel like with every symbol, you got to adjust your focus and your whatnot. Because I feel like if you leave it on auto sometimes, it gets a little wonky. Getting a little sleepy. I've had a couple of migraines the past couple of weeks. I think it's because of the stress between like work and school. So I think maybe after this stitch with me, I might lay down and take a nap for a little bit. Sounds kind of nice. Just a quick little one. It's just my migraine medicine makes me very drowsy when I do have to take it, so I did have to take it today. And I know I had to take it last week too, so that kind of sucks. Anyone out there, a migraine sufferer, knows what I'm talking about. And then, of course, as the heat is coming on for spring and summer, I'll probably get them more often. I'm one of those people where I have to have the house a lot cooler just because of my migraines. So, yeah. Bear with me here. Hold on, I have a kid knocking on my door. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. My kid was like, oh my gosh, I used the air fryer. I made crispy French fries. In this household, we like to nurture independency. They're old enough now where they can cook. So anytime they cook something without burning down the house, or it's actually pretty good, they like to show me. So today they made fries and wanted to show me that they came out crispy and not hard, because apparently that's what's been happening before. Kids are funny. There we go. Kind of impressed with how quickly I'm stitching all this right now. I must be on a mission. Like I said, I want to try to get this thread done within this video. Just get this little section done. So considering how fast I'm going, this might not be a very long stitch with me. That's okay. A shorter stitch with me is okay. Sometimes we only have a few minutes. Sometimes we have hours. There are some people that I do watch that do stitch with me's that are hour and a half. And I like watching them, aka watching them, also aka listening to them, just to give my support to my fellow stitchers, because I know how much effort went into those videos. And I know I can commit to sitting down and doing a stitch too. Doing a stitch on that's not being recorded. That's that long. I don't know if I could do an hour and a half, to be honest. I don't know if, like, actually recording for an hour and a half. The things that they come up and talk about, I'm just like, how do you hold a conversation, a one-sided conversation nonetheless, for an hour and a half? You go, girls and gentlemen. You go, ladies and gentlemen. Like, this girl, if I do an hour and a half, y'all, I don't know. I must be really on a mission or something. I don't know. I think the longest stitch with me I've ever done was like 40, 45 minutes. I just stitch until my heart's content or I run out of things to talk about, and then I move on to the next project with you guys or the next video. Do you guys like those longer stitch with me's? Let me know in the comments. Do you like long stitch with me's or do you like shorter ones? I think everyone kind of has their preference, but I would like to know what my audience likes. I mean, if I did an hour and a half stitch with me, there'll be a mix between me talking and music, to be honest. Just to fill some of that void. A couple minutes of void here and there of no sound. Because again, I have a very, very good noise canceling microphone. I've gone back and listened to my audio on some of my videos where like the trash man or the dog next door is barking. So I'll go back and like take note of where I was in the video at that time and I'll kind of, while I'm editing, see if you can hear it. And more often than not, nope, you can't. Or you can hear it very faintly, which is nice. It's a good quality mic. That's what I was looking for, was something that cancels out a lot of background noise. Only because, like I said, I have 3 dogs, I have 3 kids. I like to leave my windows open when it's nice out, so I didn't want my videos to pick up all that background noise, which so far it hasn't picked it up, so. Oop, sorry, that just popped right out. There we go. See, I can see the holes on this one without needing like glasses or anything. That's why I like 11 and 14 count. I can't do anything bigger than that. I commend those ladies where they're doing it on like 24 count, 28 count. I'm like, how do you see? Are we using glasses? What are we doing, ladies? Because I could never do that without needing some sort of eyesight assistance. And again, I notice as I'm getting older, it's become more apparent, even so with my stitching projects. Oh, see, like I missed a whole square. You see it? So I went through this hole when I should have went through that hole right there. See, it's okay to make mistakes, just as long as you catch it early enough. When I very first started cross stitching, I wouldn't catch it till it was later. So yeah. But again, when you stare at a canvas for several hours, it definitely takes a toll on your eyes. It was funny because I was cross stitching one of my patterns last week at work, and one of the coworkers came in to like get some water or whatever from the break room because I was stitching. And she walks over. She goes, "What are you making?" So then I showed her. She goes, "Oh my gosh, that has to be so hard on your eyes sometimes." Because she does crocheting on her breaks. And I was like, well, kind of not really. It's not that bad. As long as you have good lighting, I feel like it's doesn't take a toll on your eyes. It's when you have bad lighting is when it's an issue. As you can see, I always have pretty good lighting. Even though this is my lighting for filming, I have the same type of lighting, like little lights next to my bed, as well as my my ottoman, like my recliner chair, not my ottoman, my recliner chair. So the places that I typically stitch, I have these. So I even have one downstairs by our couches. So like during the summer months, because it gets hot upstairs, I'll spend more time downstairs and I'll have lights next to where I stitch. There we go. Okay. As you can see, I'm probably going to have to trim some thread there because I'm not sure. It may have been left over for my tail. Bear with me. I'm going to grab my scissors as soon as I'm done. I'm going to trim it. It looks like part of the tail came out from where I did a pin stitch. I just must have forgot to stitch it. So bear with me while I get my scissors. All right, let's go ahead and fix this really fast. Let me pull this through. Because if not, it is going to annoy me. There we go. I must have forgot to snip it when I did a pin stitch. There we go. So, if you've ever wondered why I do like week 1, 2, 3, etc. on my videos, it's because I want to see how long it takes for me to finish a project, like how many stitch with me's, as well as stitching in between it takes me to finish a project. I'll be honest with you, if I probably sat down and thought about how many hours I put into a project, I'd probably be a little depressed. Not literally, jokingly, because again, it takes a lot of time to get these projects done. And I stitch, I wouldn't say slow, but I wouldn't say fast either, because when I stitch fast, that's when I notice I make a lot of mistakes. So I just like to trawl along my way through through my projects. I've come close to a couple that I have done. I just need to wash them, and I have one that I need to do the back stitch on, which again, I'll get to it when I get to it. I have a lifetime. The way that I see it is I have a lifetime to get to these things. I just like stitching on the fabric with all the different colors. I'm sure what's going to end up happening once I'm done with nursing school, because I will only be working my 3 days and have my kids and my hobbies, I'm sure I'll probably be knocking out projects left and right because I'm a homebody by nature. So I'm sure I'll be knocking projects out left and right. I do like going out and about and doing things in the sense of outdoorsy type, but I don't like being in the sun too long. And I only like really doing that kind of stuff during the spring and fall. I'm not a big fan in the summer heat. I like going up to the mountains to go snow tubing and stuff like that. We didn't get to that this year just because we seem to have a lot of colds running around our house this year. It's like I was keeping track of how many colds I've gotten since December, and I kid you not, I'm getting a cold about every 3 weeks, which I don't even understand how that's possible because I mean, I take vitamins, I eat relatively, I wouldn't say super healthy, but I eat decently, but I do have my moments where I'm like, oh, I like cherry Pepsi, or oh, I'm craving a piece of candy or some cake, or, I think all of us have those moments. However, I think what's taking a toll on my immune system is working night shift because I'm not getting the proper amount of sleep between working nights, being not able to get more than like 4 hours of sleep a day on those days that I do work. And then just being completely obliterated. But I really do like night shifts, so I guess that's one of the cons if you ever think about it. All right. I got 2 squares left here, so I'm going to finish these up. I'm going to hunt on my canvas for our next stitch with me, which will be, I think, the next one's what, week 6? Maybe I'll start some because I try to make my stitch with me's about 30 minutes or so. Just so that way you guys can have some company with your stitch with me's on your projects. Let's see where some more of those green X's are. Maybe we can stitch for about 5-10 more minutes. Let's see on the canvas. Oh, there's some right here. There we go. There's a blue X. This is a green X. That one's blue, I think. Does that look like a blue to you guys? Yep, that's a blue. Let's knock out these 4 greens right here. They're pretty close to what we're already stitching. Now that I've learned a pin stitch, like a good pin stitch, I don't mind confetti at all now. If you're doing a 14 count, you can do a loop start because the 14 count requires 2 threads, so you can take 1 thread and do it in half. But when it's a 3 count, it's a little bit more tricky, to be honest with you. So you have to really master that pin stitch on a 3 count, which is, or 3 thread count, which is an 11 count Ada. There are a couple of 9 counts that I want to get, just because the print is very pretty, and it's something that I'd be interested in stitching, but I don't know how I feel about 4 threads, to be honest with you. I feel like that's a lot of thread. It's going to be thick, but then again, it is 9 count, right? So the boxes are going to be bigger and need more coverage. I don't know. What's your guys' opinions on 9 count? Have you done them? Do you like them? Those are more or less those larger landscape ones that you see floating around like on the overseas websites or AliExpress. Let's see. Do we have any more X's? See, there's those pluses right here. X, X, X. So when I have a little bit of thread like this left over, I'll try to stitch it so I don't have to put it back on my card. I don't know. Do you guys do that too? Looks like oh look, looks like there's a lot of pluses over here. Ah, okay. Let's see. Green X's. Where are we gonna find some? Check marks. I kinda feel like I'm not seeing any right now. Green X, Green X. It's like a Where's Waldo sometimes, I feel like. It's like, what are we doing, guys? Let's see. Is there any green X's over here? Nope. All right, guys, I don't really feel like hunting for any more, so I think I may just call it a done for this color right now. Just because I'm not finding any. I've never had this much difficulty looking for a symbol before. All right. All right, friends. Well, as you can see, I had a hard time finding any more of those green X's for this color that we have here. So we're going to call this week 5 a done for filming. Thank you for everybody that stuck around this long and watched the video till the end. I really appreciate you hanging out with me during this stitch with me. If you're a subscriber, thank you for returning and hanging out with me this week. If you're not a subscriber and you happen to click on my video, come across my video, and you like the content that I do or the things that we talk about, go ahead and click that subscribe button and then click that little bell notification. It'll let you know anytime that I post a new video. And I do post throughout the week, several videos a week, depending on what type of filming I've gotten done. If you want to follow me on other social media platforms, I do have an Instagram as well as a TikTok. My username over there is stitch underscore with underscore Steph. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit tired right now. It's a little bit later in the evening. Again, that username on both platforms is stitch underscore with underscore Steph. And at the end of this video, in my closing stuff, I do have a QR code that will link you straight to my TikTok. Over there, I go ahead and I do sneak peeks and notifications of lives and when videos are up and stuff like that, and polls. Thank you for coming along with me today on this journey. I will see you guys next week in week 6 of our Spring Mountain Stitch with me. Have a good night, guys. Bye.